Hello and welcome to this special presentation on Rajya Sabha television, the question hour, wherein we bring you the important questions asked by the members of parliament earlier in the House and the response given by the government. I am Vishal Dahiya and with me is my colleague Kriti Mishra.
Thank you so much, Vishal. So let's take our viewers through important unanswered questions asked by the members of the Rajya Sabha earlier and the response given by the government. So the first question that we've picked up is from member Lal Singh Vadoria, and this question pertains to the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers' Welfare. And Mr. Vadoria has asked the government whether it is considering to provide well-equipped storage facilities to the farmers in the country.
Well, the Ministry of Agriculture in its response says that the Government of India is already supporting the creation of well-equipped scientific storage facilities to the farmers in the country through the scheme of Agriculture Marketing Infrastructure, that is AMI, which is a sub-scheme of Integrated Scheme for Agriculture Marketing. Now, AMI scheme is a back-ended capital subsidy scheme in which rate of subsidy is 25% and 33.33% based on the category of eligible beneficiary and is provided on capital cost of the project. Assistance under the AMI sub-scheme is available to individual farmers, group of farmers, growers, registered farmer, producer organizations, etc. And the AMI scheme is a demand-driven scheme. So far, a total of 38,964 storage infrastructure projects, that is go-downs, with storage capacity of 655.48 metric tons have been sanctioned across the country under this scheme. Well, the next question is by member D. Kupendra Reddy, and this is to the Ministry of Animal Husbandry, Dairying and Fisheries, wherein the member wants to know whether it is a fact that the fisheries sector has huge potential under the sea but is facing problems which are preventing its growth.
Well, it's a very elaborate answer given by the government, and the government goes on to say that the potential of marine fishery resources available in our jurisdictional waters is estimated as 5.31 million metric tons. Against this potential, the production from marine fisheries in 2018-19 has been estimated at 3.714 million metric tons, which is provisional. This indicates that marine fisheries resources are not overexploited and there is a marginal scope for tapping more resources from the sea in a very sustainable manner. The government further goes on to say that the Department of Fisheries, Government of India, is implementing a component, namely development of marine fisheries infrastructure and post-harvest operations under the centrally sponsored scheme called Blue Revolution. Integrated development and management of fisheries, under which central financial assistance is provided to the states and union territories for growth and development of the fisheries sector in the country for subcomponents like motorizations of traditional crafts, procurement of fiberglass reinforced plastic boats, construction of resource-specific fishing wells, mariculture activities, creating of shore-based infrastructure facilities like fish landing centers, ice plants, cold storages, fish markets, etc. Besides, the department is issuing advisories to all maritime states and union territories for observing sustainable fisheries with appropriate conservation and fishery management measures. Let's move on to the next question, and this one is by member G.C. Chandrasekhar, and this question pertains to the Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers. And Mr. Chandrasekhar has asked the government about the steps taken to ensure the availability and timely supply of urea and other fertilizers to the farmers and the details thereof.
Well, in its answer, the Ministry of Chemical and Fertilizer has listed several steps taken by it, and it says that before the commencement of each cropping season, Department of Agriculture, Cooperation and Farmers' Welfare, in consultation with all the state governments, assess the requirement of fertilizers, and after the assessment of requirement, this department projects month-wise requirement of fertilizers. On the basis of month-wise and state-wise projection given by Department of Agriculture, Cooperation and Farmers' Welfare, the Department of Fertilizers then allocates sufficient adequate quantities of fertilizers to states by issuing monthly supply plan and continuously monitors the availability through the following system. The movement of all major subsidized fertilizers is monitored throughout the country by an online web-based monitoring system called Integrated Fertilizer Monitoring System, and the state governments are regularly advised to coordinate with manufacturers and importers of fertilizers for streamlining the supplies through timely placement of indents for railway rakes through their state institutional agencies like Markfed, etc. Well, the next question is by member Dharmapuri Srinivas, and this one is to the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, wherein the member wants to know from the government whether it is contemplating on introducing national e-commerce system in the country.
The government says that a draft national e-commerce policy has been prepared and placed in the public domain. The draft policy aims to empower domestic entrepreneurs and encourage Make in India, safeguard interest of the consumers, ensure creation of jobs in the digital sphere in the times to come, and promote domestic research and development in digital innovation and prevent misuse of data while maintaining the spirit of existing regulations. The government further says that comments from various stakeholders include several e-commerce companies have been received on the draft national e-commerce policy. Further, a series of meetings have been held with stakeholders including e-commerce companies. Comments received comprise views, suggestions on the various provisions of the draft national e-commerce policy, including the aspects of liability on intermediaries, local presence of international platforms, measures to enable exports of e-commerce companies. Moving on to the next question, and this one is to the Ministry of Railways, and this question has been asked by member Tiruchi Siva. And Mr. Siva has asked the government whether the government has taken steps to ensure electrification of all railway tracks by the year 2022.
Well, the answer from the Railways Ministry is an affirmative, and it says that in view of the various advantages of railway electrification, Ministry of Railways has planned to electrify balance broad gauge routes of Indian Railways by 21 and 22, and various steps in this direction have been taken. Now, the railway electrification works are not confined to states and union territory boundaries. However, budget allocation to railway electrification projects under Plan had 35 during previous year, that is 2018-19, was 6,302 crore rupees. Well, the next question is also to the Ministry of Railways, and this one is from member Vishal Satyanath, who wants to know from the government whether it is a fact that it is considering to invest 50 lakh crore rupees in railways by the year 2030.
The government goes on to say that as per the budget 2019-20, railway infrastructure would need an investment of 50 lakh crore rupees between 2018 and 2030. Given that the capital expenditure outlay of railway are around 1.5 to 1.6 lakh crore rupees per annum, completing even all sanctioned projects would take decades. It is therefore proposed to use public-private partnership to unleash faster development and completion of railway projects. Huge investment is required in railways for modernization and capacity augmentation. Some of the major areas requiring investment are capacity augmentation of HDN, which is high density network, and HUN, which is highly utilized network routes. Dedicated freight corridors, high speed corridors, speed upgradation to 160 kilometers per hour of golden quadrilateral and diagonals, and also new line projects as well as gauge conversion projects.
Well, my colleague Kriti Mishra spoke to the member Vijila Satyanath on her response to the government's answer to her question. Let's listen in.
And joining us on the question hour show is Rajya Sabha member Mrs. Vijila Satyanath. Ma'am, welcome to Rajya Sabha Television. You asked a very important question on investment in railways. How satisfied are you with government's response?
Yes, today I have a very important unstart question which I raised to the Honorable Minister for Railways, Shri Piyush Goyal ji, in which I have asked whether it is the fact that government is considering to invest 50 lakh crore rupees in railways by the year 2030. So it's a very important question because it has been in the budget 2018-19 budget. It stated that the railway infrastructure would need, it was a 2019-20 budget, which stated that another investment, the railways would need an investment of 50 lakh crores between 18 and 30. So now this is a very important point because we have to enhance high-speed corridors, dedicated freight corridors, and also all the infrastructure facilities have to be strengthened. And also the connectivity should be, because connectivity is the lifeline of all the developments. So now we need that speed upgradation to 160 kilometers per hour of golden quadrilateral and diagonals have to be created. So it's infrastructure creation. And also the traffic facilities, the gauge conversions and the stock moving from here to there, and the metropolitan transport project should be enhanced, and all the bridge works, both the rail overbridge and also under bridges, have to be constructed at a fast pace, and all the lines have to be gauge converted. So it has to be done at a very fast pace. As you know that prior to this, the railways allocated only a few amounts every year. So if a project is taken for 1,190 crores, whereas I can say now from Madurai to Kanyakumari, there is gauge conversion going on. So meter gauge to broad gauge conversion has been done. But now, after the electrification, it is now the high time that we need double lines. So doubling works are going on, but it is a huge investment, 1,290 crores. But every year we have, to our despair, we could see only 190 crores, 100 crores being allotted to this project, and which goes on and on and on for years together. And after the completion, when it comes to the completion stage, this price escalation goes up to 40%, which is a tremendous burden to the railways. So as you need a one-time settlement for many projects, I swear that this visionary action which is taken by the railways to invest 50 lakh crores to improve all the infrastructure development on all the ongoing projects to complete, it is essential that our outlay of around 1.5 to 1.6 lakh crores every year we need for the completion of ongoing projects and for the further enhancement. So I would like to know from the Honorable Minister whether this will be really on papers or whether it will become a reality. So that's what I wanted to put it, whether really our government is on the move to make public-private partnership to strengthen the railways infrastructure developments, infrastructure projects through making more investments to these projects.
And Madam, what is your take on public-private partnership in railways?
Yeah, to unleash faster development and also to complete all the ongoing projects, we need to have public-private partnerships. Because as you know, railways have got enormous land. We have every district, every components, we have a lot of lands available in the railways. So we can utilize that lands to convert it into a very good purposeful projects. We can have a public intervention, public also to participate, and also the private people to come and take some projects which they will do and earn for quite a while. They can earn money through that projects, and also they will finally yield to permanent infrastructure development for the railways. So it is the private partnership. Why we are encouraging is just to give us more investment to these projects, and also it will be helpful both ways. Private also people will be have some benefits, and also the public, for us it is permanent investment.
And that's a very important point that you're making. Thank you so much for talking to Rajya Sabha Television. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Kriti, that's all we have for our viewers in this segment of Question Hour.
That's right, Vishal. Prashnkal with our colleagues Arvind Singh and Kriti Singh on the other side. Stay tuned to Rajya Sabha Television.